Hello everyone, welcome back to Survival Minecraft Season 3, Episode 5. In today's episode, I will be making an industrial district populated with several redstone farms, such as an iron farm, sugarcane farm, lava farm, and a super smelter. I will be making more farms in future episodes, such as a cactus farm and a bamboo farm. I also need a bee farm and a moss farm. I do plan to make every single farm that I can in this series, within reason. I'm not sure if I'll make a tree farm, but I might try to. However, also, as you can see, I have successfully defeated the Ender Dragon, because behind me is the dragon egg, and on the ceiling are several elytras. So I have some backup ones, which is very good, because in the previous episode, I died to a piglin brute, but I was able to raid a different bastion and get back at them, so I was able to get my revenge. I also found a 2 tall fern from one of the villages that I used to get a map for the trial chambers, because I wanted to get a heavy core for the episode. Unfortunately, I was not able to find a heavy core, so that means that I will have to keep trying. I've also got netherite armour, which was very cool, and I used flow armour trims for it that I got from the trial chamber. I got a bit carried away with the industrial district, and it turned out a lot bigger than I initially planned for this episode, but it came out really good, and I'm very happy with it, and I'm looking forward to showing it to you. But before that, here is a clip of me getting some netherite armor, including the achievements. Serious dedication, and also, of course, upgrading netherite armor. It is a bit of a waste, to be honest, although it does add more durability on your hoe, which is useful. And there you can see some of the armor trims that I got, and I also got a smithing template, of course, to get netherite armor. So I made sure to duplicate that a few times so that I would always have enough. Now I am flying around some mountains and cliffs that are near where I did the raid on the village and where I raided the woodland mansion. There's a pillager outpost nearby as well, so I might use that to make a raid farm. These mountains are also very impressive, and such beautiful scenery, and there is a calcite mountain as well, which will be good for building with. And I also do plan to come back here to make a pirate base and a Norse base, and a Viking town, lots of other places. Lots of other build ideas. There in the distance you can see the woodland mansion that I used to in the previous episode, and this mountain I'm flying towards is on top of the ancient city where I defeated the warden. So now it is time to show you a few changes that have been made to the village since you last saw it. Although before that, I wanted to show you, these are all of the Trial Explorer maps that I had to use to find trial chambers, because I wanted to get a heavy core, but sadly I was not able to. So I will have to keep trying that in future episodes. And I also lost all my totems when I died. But as you can see, I have made a very small structure. And this is just a temporary structure to house some allays, which I brought back from the woodland mansion. Unfortunately, I have to keep them tied up to the fence post, because otherwise they phase through blocks. And they just, basically, whenever you get near them, they can go through blocks, which is quite annoying. So I use some amethyst and some purple glass, because that looked kind of bluish and purplish like the allays. I did try using blue stained glass, but it didn't look very good, so purple stained glass looked a lot better. But that might just be a temporary structure, because I'm not sure if it'll suit the overall style of the village that I'm going for, but we'll see. And I also needed a ton of basalt for the industrial district, so I used the items that I had, which was some crimson wood from the nether, some tough blocks, and some deep slate. It's quite simple and basic, and there's a there's a minecart going back and forth, and this is just a simple basalt generator that uses blue ice, soil, and lava to make basalt, and the minecart picks it up. So I can go AFK, which means away from keyboard, and then all of these chests, as you can see, collect the basalt. So it works the same way that a stone generator does, just with basalt instead. So it was incredibly useful for the industrial district and also other projects like my castle in the future. Start building the industrial district, so enjoy this time lapse. Welcome back. After the time lapse, I did need a lot more resources, of course, and I would do that in between building, so I didn't want to show you every single thing that I had to gather, but I did also want to show you where the industrial district is. So now I will fly up to this platform and give you a bit of the lay of the land. If I can land on it. So here you could see the village that we have worked on and the farming district, and behind me is where I will build the castle. There is our nice farming district, and over there beyond that mountain is where the industrial district will be. That hill will house our city, and there's lots of other cool hills nearby. But I found this cool plateau, and I think it will make a very good industrial district. I do also have plans to make a train here and other cool things, because it is quite a big area, and so it could be cool. But now, enjoy the time lapse of me starting the build. But now you might be wondering where I am, and why I have so many rockets. Well, I needed to go get more resources for the super smelter, because I would need lots of materials for the factories. And so here you could see that I'm at the woodland mansion that I showed you previously when I was flying about, and I used this woodland mansion in the previous episode. But as I was flying about, I discovered some cool biomes, and over there is the village that I did the raid at. I'm not going to defeat the woodland mansion again in this episode, but I did have to come back here because I found a badlands biome or a mesa, and I also found a pale garden and some other cool biomes. So I got distracted and I decided to harvest some saplings and pale moss because I do want to use them for future builds. And there's a cool lush cave with a mineshaft in it, which I did explore as well, briefly. I unfortunately forgot to fight the creaking in the last episode, so I will have to do that again. And here you can see I found a massive mountain range, and I also found a badlands or a mesa, which is very useful because I needed some terracotta for the build. And I will also be mining up all of this calcite in future episodes for the city and the village and the castle. I'll definitely have to come back and make a build here. It's a very cool mountain. And I was exploring this pillager outpost in the hopes of finding a goat horn, but instead I found some sentry. I found some armor trips. However, that was not the main focal point of this mission. I wanted a bunch of coal for the super smelter because I would need tons of glass and other resources. So I began mining some coal. Let me know if you guys, what YouTubers you guys watch in relation to Minecraft, if you watch any at all, of course. Do you watch Hermitcraft or Chill Cozy Minecraft series, or do you prefer more action-oriented ones, such as Better Minecraft, or do you prefer like vanilla only or modded? What do you watch? I watch a variety of things, although lately I have been enjoying the cozy Minecraft trend, which is very relaxing. And Gemini Tay is one of my favorite YouTubers of Minecraft. So I would definitely recommend her channel, and just Hermitcraft in general. There's so many amazing builds there that have really inspired me. And do you watch any live streams as well of Minecraft? If so, who is your favorite streamer? There are some streamers on Twitch that have inspired me as well. The Baked Dean and Sin City Live. They do hardcore playthroughs. They do hardcore worlds of Minecraft. But I don't do hardcore. The longest I've survived is 600 days. But for the purposes of YouTube, as I've said in the past, I don't want to take the risk. But maybe one day I will. Their worlds are very impressive, and especially that they both survived so long. Sin City, for example, has survived over 10,000 days in hardcore, which is very impressive. That takes a lot of work. Now I am back in the industrial district, and it doesn't look like much, but very soon it will be populated with lots of builds, maybe even a train station and places for the factory workers to live, so that they don't have to go back and forth to the city. But enjoy this look at what we have made so far. Ta-da! As you can see, we've done quite a bit. These were the first two builds that I had planned in this district, and I wasn't going to make any more, but then I got a bit carried away. So, as you can see, we've made a warehouse, and there are these cranes off on the side that are lifting up resources from this hole, because I plan to make a small quarry in that hole, but not the main one all the way down to bedrock. And then I wanted somewhere to build an iron farm, so I made this small factory, but then it turned out to be too small for the iron farm, and I made this little fountain and some lawns leading up to it. So instead, this factory will be housing a sugarcane farm. So now let's go and see what it looks like on the inside. As you can see, there's not much in here. There are 2 layers to the farm, and I might make more, but it's pretty efficient, and it gives us plenty of sugarcane to make rockets. So I don't think I need any more. Now we are in the warehouse, and I used a checkered floor pattern and some bricks and tough bricks because I would have a lava farm in here to power the super smelter, and I didn't want it to burn down. But if you didn't know, if you flick the lever, these 2 minecarts go back and forth, and then they fill up the furnaces equally, allowing very efficient and much faster smelting. And then the hoppers also put it in the chest, and that's how I can make the stone that I used for the ceiling, for example. It was also incredibly useful to smelt up tons of glass, which I would need for the next major build. And I did end up using a lot of lava, which I collected from this lava farm. Well, I hope you liked those builds, but now it is time to get started on the next build, which turned out to be a bit of a mega base. To start off with, I needed to do some terraforming and lighting up the area, and then I needed a bit more resources, so I had to go exploring. Well, that was a lot of work, but now I was finally able to make the iron farm, but I needed some villagers for it, so I went to this nearby village and used a new mechanic that Mojang added, which lets you put mobs in boats, and you can put leads on boats now, and you can fly them over long distances. You do have to be careful that the lead doesn't break, because if you fly too fast, or at certain angles, then it can pop off. But we made a successful landing, and so using this method, I was able to painlessly transport 3 villagers, and I was also able to trap a zombie in a boat before during nighttime, which I put in that little stone box. So now you can see that the iron farm works, and it is very efficient, although it did break several times. So I had to make some additions to it, such as this little place that the zombie can go to back and forth. Most iron farms just have a zombie in a boat, but this way the villagers can sleep still, and yeah, I did need lots of iron for the super smelter. So yeah, as you can see, it's quite basic, but now this is the building that will be covering the iron farm, and it will also house lots of other farms. I wanted to use some terracotta and mud for the iron farm, so I had to travel quite far to find a mangrove biome, and I will be going back there to get some frogs as well. But I did bring some propagules with me, and I also got some from the wandering trader. Here you can see that I'm designing some outer buildings out of mud and terracotta. Just regular terracotta, not packed, not red terracotta. Started on the actual building itself, so enjoy this time lapse. welcome back after the time lapse. I wasn't able to show everything that I built or did off camera as well as on camera because otherwise I would be running out of time and the episode would get very long indeed. But let me know if you do want longer form content because I know that long plays are very popular and some people even post 3-hour episodes. So I might do that in the future, but for now, I just wanted to show you a snippet of what building the mega factory entailed. So without further ado, now it is time for the grand reveal of the factory. Ta-da! As you can see, we've accomplished a lot in the past while. I used some oxidized copper for the roof, which I got from the trial chambers, and I used some blackstone to make chimneys, and I used stained glass to make some giant smoke plumes. I also did a lot of terraforming and used deep slate for the ground and some tough blocks for the paths, for the roads. It was just looking a bit too green and stood out a bit, so I decided that I wanted it to look more industrial, so the deep slate fitted a lot better. And I also made these propellers with regular copper from the trial chambers to make it look quite industrial and steampunk almost, as if they are powering the devices and machines inside this factory. I wanted this to look very Victorian, 1800s, but also steampunk and slightly fantasy-esque. And then I wanted to add some little details, such as using iron rails, pipes, wagons, crates, and pulleys, and cranes. Here you can see the pipes that I made sticking out of the side with some mangrove trapdoors and some blackstone bricks. I used stained green glass to make a kind of slime effect. I'm not sure if I'm happy with these pipes. It's meant to look like the factory is producing toxic waste and dumping it into some drains, perhaps. I also added these little wagons, which are my own design, inspired by some pictures I saw on Google, but I wanted some little carts that are taking and transporting some ores and other things to the factory and warehouse. And here you can see I made some fake doors because there's nothing in these rooms just yet, but I might use them for storage or something else. I also used some stripped mangrove logs for the mangrove biome and some mud bricks and regular terracotta for these outer buildings, and some of the new copper bulbs and some observers as decorations. The ground in between was looking quite empty and boring, so I added just a bunch of iron rails as if they are taking things to and from the factory, and there through the gate you can kind of see the what's it called, iron farm. You can also see the wall design that I made in the end. And here is the grand entrance. I just used some more basalt and some copper, so yeah, it came out quite good. Made some big sturdy pillars. And here is the inside. As you can see, it is very big indeed. We have lots of room to work with, so I will be making lots of rooms and floors in here, and we do also have these massive windows. I did start using some white concrete, but then I ran out, so I will have to gather more, but that will take quite a while. So I will be doing it slowly over the course of the episodes. Here's the iron farm. It has been working very efficiently, but I've taken out all of the iron in the meantime and crafted it into iron blocks. But in the future, I will be using the auto crafter and some item sorters. But I'm really happy with how it came out. It turned out to be a lot bigger than I anticipated, but I filled it with tons of little details, and some big ones as well. I will still be tweaking it and adjusting it over the course of the episodes, and I do have plans to cover this whole plateau in builds. There aren't any custom trees because it's a factory, so I'm not sure if a lot of greenery would fit in here. But let me know if you think custom trees would look good. Perhaps I can add some pale oak trees that would fit in pretty well because they do look like kind of dead trees. Or maybe I could make my own dead trees. But let me know if you think that custom trees would be a good idea, or if I should make some other kind of plants. Let me know. And I do have an idea of making a train here as well that is taking items from the factory to and fro, and distributing it throughout the kingdom. That could be pretty cool. I've got lots of other ideas. We need to make an AFK wool farm as well, bamboo, cactus, kelp, and as many as we possibly can. So don't worry, this whole place will be completely covered in builds and farms. But that is all the time we have for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment, subscribe if you're new, and stay safe. Take care, bye-bye.